Welcome to another episode of What I Learned from Bobby Hemmit. This episode is a decoding of Twilight Zone. The decoding is the story, it's called A Small Talent for War. A Small Talent for War. And when I, I'm a big Twilight Zone fan. I watched all these episodes on YouTube before, but now I can go back and watch it again and decode it. Before I was watching it for entertainment, but now I can just see right through to the metaphysical messages that are in there. So anyway, I have to say that this is one of my favorites. This episode is one of my favorites. It's one of my favorites to decode because it is so blatant. I mean, they're just directly telling you things, and it's funny. It's actually funny. And this is a very simple episode, I mean, they just get to the point immediately, and there's not a lot of substance to the story. And a lot of people will say, oh, well, this story's no good, oh, big deal. But no, this is a brilliant story. So let me look at my notes and go ahead and tell you the points directly. Again, it's called A Small Talent for War, and the story is about an alien, and of course the alien's just a white man that manifests himself in a United Nations type meeting of all the world powers, and he makes some announcements. All right, so here let's go ahead and start with the decoding. Okay. All right, so we have the opening scene where an alien guy appears, and he's a white man, but his hair is very, very black, and so are his eyes, very, very black. So that is symbolizing a black person. He says, 2 million years ago, we sped up evolution, and you are our children. All right, he says something to that effect. And never mind the evolution concept, because that's a lie. But what he's saying is that we've been here over 2 million years. And, you people are our children. All right, so the white man came from you, but you created him. And then, by the way, the camera cuts to a black person, a black woman, when the guy says, you are our children. So that's alluding to the fact that the black woman is one of the gods and the creators of all these other people. So anyway, point 2 is the alien character says, you have a small talent for war. Now the translation for that, for white people, they're talking about white people, and all of these nations basically who are led by some variant of white person. Basically, he's telling the truth that white people, they are a warmongering people by nature. That's just who they are. They are control freaks, and they are warmongers. If they can start a war, they will. It's their delight to do that. It's their nature. All right, and that is something Bobby Hemmit says. And it's right in your face anyway. I mean, you know, every war we have, the establishment, you know, takes 20 years later to apologize and memorialize and say they're sorry and you know, have all these ceremonies and celebrate the stupid soldiers that fought for the war or fought in the war. And then what happens? You have another fucking war about 10 years later. So their nature is warmongering. Just look at history. Point 2, the alien says, we bred you for finer things, but you haven't lived up to it. So we must destroy you tomorrow. Okay, and then the person that speaks back to the alien is a United Nations rep of the U.S., okay? A representative of the U.S. And he says, and of course he's a white man, he says, oh, give us a chance. We can do better. We're here at this meeting now, and we're thinking about ways to come together and be in peace. All right. So the alien listens to him and listens to him pleading, and he says, you know, we are a very patient people. We have debated this for centuries. So what he's saying is that, I mean, the metaphysical truth is that this white man is on a time limit. And he is being allowed to do all the things that he's doing to destroy the world, and you need to wake up to what's happening right now is part of that destruction of his world, because he knows he's on a time limit for his existence, basically, and one day he's going to be eradicated. But he's still a warmonger and a control freak, so what we're experiencing now is his last hurrah to control the world, because that's his ultimate dream, his ultimate goal. I mean, black people did it in harmony. Black people did it where everybody had everything, because, you know, there's no lack of any resources or anything, you know. Everybody can have everything. Everybody can be rich. The planet is made for you to enjoy. But the white man, because he's not natural, and because he's a psychopath, his only way to deal with people is by exploitation, slavery, and control. So anyway, let me get back to the point here, okay? I was making my point so you could understand the white man more. But anyway, going back to the story, the alien continues to say, okay, well anyway, the white man pleads, you know, after the alien says, you know, we've been very patient for centuries. The white man says, oh, but please give us another day. Just give us 24 hours. We can work together. We can do it now. We will live up to your expectation. We can do it. Give us another chance. All right. So the alien says, yes, your savagery is an issue. That is true. But okay, fine. You have until tomorrow. And again, the alien says, you've had your chance, many of them, over the centuries. Now, what is the message there? The white man knows that he's going to have a judgment on him. And his reign and rule is not forever, although he makes you think it is. And that's something Bobby Hemmit has said. But the thing is, let's just say the white man was a human being. And let's just say, okay, once upon a time, he didn't like black people. Now, how can that last for fucking centuries? If he's human, okay? And then he discovers, oh, well, you know, these black people aren't so bad, you know? They're very musically inclined, and they like to be happy and dance, and they make other people happy and dance. And, you know, they come up with a lot of inventions, and even though we've stolen everything from them, they haven't, you know, attacked us or anything. And, you know, even though we've apologized from the 30s and the 20s and the 1800s for lynching them and all this stuff, you know, we can be friends now. Let's bury the hatchet. No, you are still made out to be his enemy up until this day. If the white man was a human being, and this was just something, oh, well, he had a bad experience with black people. I mean, how long can that fucking last? A couple centuries? So my point is that this white man knows himself, knows that he's done wrong, and he cannot change. That's my point. Many people are brainwashed to think, Martin Luther King, I had a dream, all right, now we're integrated, and now everything's okay. Because I can make more money than the black person in the ghetto. I'm a black person, and then the white man has let me become a lawyer or some shit like that. But anyway, again, my point is that he can't change. And the point of this story is to say that this alien, which is really your higher self and the God self that you are, and the great ones, who will come and bring an end to this white man's power one day. The point of the story is to tell you that you've given them a lot of chances. Really, the alien himself, that's why this is funny to me. The alien himself says, you've had your chance, many of them, over the centuries. So, let me continue with other points now. What else? There's actually nothing else to say too much, except that there's a twist. There's a contradiction, okay? The alien is representing the black person, or the black god, and he's representing a day of judgment, okay? And a day of destruction for the white establishment, white power, whatever you want to call it, okay? But there's a contradiction in the story to confuse you, to confuse the metaphysical message. The twist is that the alien comes back again and says, okay, are you guys ready now? Did you get your act together? And the twist is that the United Nations says, oh yeah, here's our book. You know, we made a book of peace. We've declared peace for every country. And the alien laughs and says, oh, you misunderstood me. I wanted your level of war is not good enough for us. And so the contradiction is that the alien is now saying that if they can't rise to the level of the aliens' level of being able to destroy people, then they don't have time to assimilate these earthlings. So again, what he's saying is that we were hoping that you increased your ability to be a warmonger, okay? And that's just a contradiction in the story, to confuse the metaphysical message. Because the metaphysical message is judgment on white people. And so anyway, in the end, of course, you know, they're going to get destroyed because they are just not worth, they are not going to help, they're not going to help the alien and his, they're not going to, the earth people cannot live up to the standard of destruction that the alien wants, because the alien is going to go around and, you know, control the galaxies. So because they're not worth it, they're just going to destroy the white people. So again, that's a complete contradiction, and it's going off in left field to confuse you. So anyway, that is the decoding of a talent for war. A small talent for war. That was the name of the episode. And one thing I want the listener, you, the YouTube listener, to think about is that go look up this story and listen for when they mention the Royal Observatory in Greenwich. And ask yourself, why is there a Royal Observatory in Greenwich? What does it mean? And just look, the point of me pointing that out is to let you know that the story that I just told you is not some fucking fantasy. Like, we think that, oh, you know, in the holy books, even in the Indian holy books, it says Krishna is going to come back. Okay? Something's going to come out of the skies. In the Bible, Jesus is going to come back, even though that's fake. You know, something's going to come out of the skies. In Islam, Allah is going to come back. Something's going to come out of the skies. So what I'm trying to, when they're looking at the skies, people, they are monitoring. They are monitoring what is coming. They're monitoring the increase in energy. They're monitoring the cycles of the stars and how close it's coming to Earth. You know, how close are these stars coming, because their power will increase. How are we, you know, what cycle is the moon coming closer to the Earth? That means it is stirring something up in you. And that ends another episode of What I Learned from Bobby Hemmit. And the story was called A Small Talent for War, and it was in the Twilight Zone series. For a follow-up, I would tell you to look up the Royal Observatory in Greenwich. Look up Death of Astronomers, because there's a lot of people that study astronomy that have been killed and murdered. And then you can look up, I don't know what, CERN, CERN. That is something I really cannot decode. It's some kind of particle accelerator, but I haven't gotten or even asked the ancestors to help me understand that. I haven't focused my attention on it. But if you just look up some videos about that, It should wake you up to the fact that these people are not playing around. And whatever I am trying to tell you about your true identity, whatever Bobby Hemmit has told you about occult research, and something to do with the stars, even if you don't get it, I got it, but okay, maybe you're new to it. Something to do with the stars. Something's going to come back. It's going to be you, your higher self. Even though that's even hard for me to fathom. It is just your energy, that's all. I'm not going to say that's hard for me to fathom. It's your energy that's going to get to a certain level that you're just going to say, you know, enough is enough now. We're ready to shut this motherfucker down. So they're looking at the planets and the stars because those are energy forces that affect your inner consciousness, your being, your body. So, let me close my mouth now. And that, again, that ends another episode of What I Learned from Bobby Hemmit. And I am talking freely and rambling and thinking in the microsecond that I'm talking. And I am a little nervous when I talk because I'm not going by a script. And I'm trying to think of the right words, the right language, even maybe higher vocabulary to say, to explain things. But the main point is that I get the information out. That is why I am just doing shortcut videos now. Because, as I've said, I don't have the equipment. I can't sort through 3 hours of Bobby Hemmit to find a video clip and then talk about that clip and get the evidence of photos to show for that clip. Don't have time for that anymore. We are in the middle of apocalyptic times. And there will be a time you won't even be able to get on YouTube anymore. Like, all knowledge is open now. It's going to get shut. There's one day you're not going to be able to just post anything on YouTube. You're not going to be able to just say anything you want. So anyway, that ends that decoding. Thank you.